We would point this court to Virginia Electric that says that any depreciation in the value of the process itself has to be burdened to the government, and it is their responsibility to suffer that loss. The time of the take is very important to establishing what the value of that property is.
What if it were a completely fair process? However many weeks, months you think notice has to be out there so everybody gets to it, easy to visit them, all these things, and you still came out with a price that was below what, for example, the house would sell on the open market, because maybe people don't want to go and get a tax foreclosure system or whatever. In other words, if you're satisfied with the fairness of the process and it comes out with something below what you think is fair market value, is that just too bad?
The answer is that the Fifth Amendment guarantees just compensation. It doesn't guarantee the outcome of an auction. And I would point this court to the Lawton decision that says that when a former property owner affirms the selling of the property, they're entitled to at least, and that's, I think, a very important two words, at least the surplus proceeds. This case is distinguishable because—
No, I know this case is distinguishable, but if I think the Solicitor General's position is that you look to the fairness of the process. And what would satisfy you with respect to the fairness? I mean, the just compensation is not out there if it's a period at which there's a Great Depression or whatever, it may not seem fair to you that you have to sell the house for a fraction of the value it was worth before. But what would they have to do to satisfy you that it was a fair process?
In most instances, with well-developed, well-designed foreclosure systems, which we would point to, for example, many of the examples in the National Association of Realtors amicus brief, if those systems are designed to actually get the reasonable fair market value at the time, you're going to have very few cases in which this type of discrepancy, the delta between the actual known value of the property and the auction price.
Well, I guess that's what I'm trying to figure out, the known value of the property. You don't know what it is. One way to find out is have a fair sale in an open market. So what's wrong with that? I mean, I know you can object to saying, well, there wasn't enough whatever, there wasn't enough time or not, but what would it take for you to say that was a fair process, even if it comes out with a number that is unsatisfactory to you?
What we would seek is that an auction process is simply one piece of evidence that's overall, in the overall scheme of possible evidence that competing parties could submit to the court to determine what is in fact the fair market value. An auction, in this case, for example, we say the auction price didn't result in the fair market value, and we offer contrary evidence. Courts of this country routinely and regularly figure out and decide what is a fair market value in all sorts of contexts, be it—
Mr. Ellison,